Welcome back to the Brew Crew Podcast, everyone. This is episode 193. And beer before liquor, never been sicker. Liquor before beer, finger in your ear. I wanted to start the episode by asking about tropes.
You don't know what the real one is for that?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're mixing it up. Gotcha.
On purpose.
On
It's
purpose.
my storied entrance. Storied intro.
Much talked about.
The much discussed, what's JT going to say today intro. I find that no matter how much you drink, you're going to get hungover at probably the same point of drunkenness.
It was somebody's birthday, 60th birthday, that was very near and dear to me this last weekend. When we showed up to his party, he was 14 shots in, and I've never seen him like that before.
Damn.
And he can handle it. Like, he can drink. I would put him in the top 5 drinkers. Like, if I'm going to be building a beer fest team, he's on it.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't matter. He won't turn his nose up to anything.
We knew a guy like that. He could drink a full 24 pack and not be affected.
And still just be unfazed. But
unfazed. Now, I will say that the water, every other drink being water, I think that it's an exact direct correlation for me.
Yeah.
Between how much water I consume and how much how hungover I'll be. Also, bread helps.
All the bread.
All of it.
Something greasy the next morning.
Greasy is always good the next day.
So, that's why everyone says bacon. But liquor before beer. I subscribe to that. The inverse of it, just because I'm missing a gear today.
No, you're not. Hard question.
The inverse of it is a tough one because how the worst hangover I've had probably in the last decade, I did that. So it was a pretty heavy day, and then I decided to finish the day with White Russians and gin and tonics.
Yeah.
And that was a rough day.
Oh, gin. Gin's a bad hangover for me. I feel like I'm puking grass.
Yeah. Anywho, do you have another one?
Yeah.
Do you have another one, Chambered?
One more trope. Breaking the seal. That's one that I never subscribed to. You got piss? Take a piss. I don't feel like I have to pee more.
Yeah.
I always, when you have to go, you gotta go. There's no like more or less having to go. It's just the frequency at which you go after you break the seal.
Sorry, Stacy.
It obviously feels like more frequent, but you still have to go, whether you break the seal or not.
So okay, I can relate to that in the fact that here's a fact for you: astronauts have to be put on a clock to go to the bathroom.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because gravity is the reason why you get that urge against that plug. It's called the plug at the bottom of your bladder. When you don't have that, you don't know. So they discovered astronauts would just pee themselves.
That's crazy.
So they have to be put on a clock.
They pee themselves.
Yeah, because gravity is what creates that sensation. And if you think about it, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, water. But everything in there is all twisted up and stuff.
Yep. But still at the bottom of it is like I said, a plug. Or
some of it's not gravity. Like food is not gravity based.
And then And then the other pee related, the urine trivia is
urine trivia. This year in urine trivia,
a mammal from 2 pounds, a 2-pound mammal, all the way to blue whales.
I've heard this.
When they have a full bladder, on average, it's 20 seconds for complete elimination.
Yeah, I've heard that.
For 2 pounds to a blue whale.
So that's more of a urethra size thing.
Yeah, it's comparable in your body. Yeah, or definitely your throughput, whatever you're able to.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 pee adjacent to your trope.
Thanks.
But
do you believe in that? In breaking the seal is a bad thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely with movies. like going to the movie theater, because I can hold it for like the first 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then I pee, and then I need to pee again in 30 minutes.
That's a good point. Maybe it is. Maybe there is some.
And that I think a sodium intake has something to deal with that too, like your water retention.
Oh yeah, that's probably what it is.
And there's a correlation there that I'm not smart enough. Yeah.
So you just hold the water.
But I have a couple of beer things.
All right, I want to hear them.
That are important. The one I forgot to say last week. So Kroger, Beaver Creek Kroger, and this is happening at multiple Krogers.
It's pointing because
I've checked.
We could see it from here. So
the good craft beer at Kroger used to be on the end caps of the beer aisles.
Yeah.
So it was a whole. Those are completely gone now. Those end caps, there's not one craft beer on those at 3 different Kroger stores. I've checked.
Yeah, that's where. So at my Kroger, I would look on the end cap.
And it's completely gone.
But they did have like the build your own 6-packs within the regular beer aisle.
Yep. So that's been there. So it's been in the beer aisle. There. So, but to push that stuff in there, you're taken from somewhere else. Like I didn't, because I buy most of my beer now from Pat's or Hall's. Yeah. But 3 different Krogers in the area had that same setup where it was the dual end caps at the end of the beer aisles.
Yeah.
And it's complete. Those are completely not one bottle or can of craft beer on those end caps now.
So it's all domestic.
No, it's not even beer.
Oh, it's not beer. No,
seltzer, chips, whatever. So like it's a movement. Most of it's non-alcoholic stuff though.
As a data scientist, I will acknowledge that there's definitely profitable reasons for why those things change.
Oh yeah, there's
end caps are like money.
Yeah,
money.
And I would. Always, even it didn't matter like the status of the church room fridge. I would always buy 1 or 2. Like I was doing my part in order, because I had talked and had a couple of relationships with the beer reps there at that Kroger, and like that's when I was like, hey, can you get the habanero sculpin back in? And they did. It was there, so I bought it the next couple of times, even though at that time it was $16 a 6-pack. It was a little bit pricier. Yes. Now I laugh in the face of that. $16. Yeah.
Jeez, pay $16 for a 4-pack.
4-pack now, and then you feel like you're getting a steal. So the other beer thing is, did you hear about the discovery made in Iowa?
No.
So an electrical, a utility company was trenching for some improved electrical capabilities, and they hit what they thought was a rock shelf. Sure enough, they discovered a beer cave from the 1860s.
Oh my gosh.
No, it doesn't say in the article. Can you guess the county? It's the most famous county in Iowa. Do you know the name of it?
Oh shit. The most famous county in Iowa? It's got to be Iowa City County.
It's Madison County. The Bridges of Madison County. That
no shit.
Terrible movie that no Chuggalo has ever watched.
What county is...
don't know. It's not the famous. I don't know.
That game's coming up, by the way.
Yes. Who's playing?
Cubs Reds.
Cubs Reds. 2 tip-top teams. So anyways.
Yeah, it's not going to be like last year's where Tim Anderson hits a game winner. That was cool.
So, yeah, according to Food and Wine magazine, they found it, and there's going to be talks about, there's a little bit of standing water in it. They didn't say, they buried the lead if there was any beer or cases or not cases, but casks in there. They didn't say anything like that, but they said that's what it's obviously used for, because the cave stayed at a balmy 52 degrees. So they went down to the county office, the Madison County office, and they were able to confirm that there was a brewery there at one time.
Oh, wow.
But they said that it was closed up in the 1860s.
Dang.
Crazy.
1860s, yeah. I mean, we're talking like during Civil War.
Yeah.
That's probably why it closed.
Yeah. So no one there. So I thought that was just a really neat, but again, tell me if there's beer in there.
Yeah.
Because I would gladly.
The Brew podcast could live stream our tasting event.
We would, and then we would die of dysentery, literally.
You think?
Well, like a covered wagon.
I think whatever parasites present themselves in that beer,
yep,
we've accounted for.
Long dead.
With
probably
something as simple as penicillin.
Awesome. But yeah, so that's and the other thing I have as I transition. The last 2 weeks, I've noticed something, and I wanted to bounce this off of you. We haven't talked about this.
I want to hear it.
There is a lot of hate out there now for hazies.
Yeah.
There is.
Oh, God.
It's
so
a huge memeable. I've been on the I'm sick of hazy train for at least a year now.
You're an OG hazy hater.
Not a hazy hater. Just like, why does everything have to be a hazy?
And this was I made the same argument 4 years ago when we first started this podcast that every brewery's first beer is an IPA of some sort.
Right.
I think it just comes down to the ease of brewing this beer. You know, a Pilsner, that's your hardest beer to brew. Then you have the sours, which kind of is like, it's the equivalent in food to like gastronomy. I think sours kind of has a scientific methodology to it. They all do, because it is chemistry after all. But I made the same argument. I think the people who are on like if you go on Instagram and you look at, not to foreshadow here, but the smoothie sours, the ones that are thick as fuck and they pour them in these glasses, people hate the shit out of those things on Instagram.
Oh yeah, they're
like
very,
the comment sections is all hate.
Very polarizing.
Like if this beer, if smoothie beers were a person, they'd be bullied, and we'd have to get counseling for them.
Get them a safe place.
But now they've shifted their focus to hazies because it is very common, and it's an entry point. It's a good entry point for IPA haters. Like pre-production, we talked about your friend doesn't like IPAs. It's possible we could find a hazy that will get him involved in IPAs. And I think that's just what it is. It's like, you're not hardcore. If you don't drink a triple dry hopped, dank as fuck IPA, you're a poser.
Right. And an amazing segue again, the Segue King, JT.
Segue King.
We will be represented, the Brew Crew podcast will be represented on the Stinger 1988 Twitch channel. We'll put the information again down below. This Thursday at 8 o'clock, 7 Central, we will be the podcast will be providing beer to a non-beer drinker to see his initial reaction. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to bury the lead too much more than that, because there's a lot of shenanigans and hijinks that I'm sure are going to occur. Some which I just shared with JT via a picture on the phone, so I can't wait for this stuff to happen. But anyways, on to let's put the hazy hate behind us, and we'll go forward.
Hazy hate
with a offering from 450 North in collaboration with Drekker. So two powerhouses here. Mm-hmm. It's called Legendary Sea Snail.
Yep.
JT, there's going to be a lot of information. This is Legendary Sea Snail right here, the pint can. It's a smoothie style sour ale coming in at 5.3%. We'll go with the crack. Did you roll it?
Oh, no. I feel like if you roll it on an angle,
that's probably better.
You probably get more. I've been watching a lot of Trevor Bauer videos lately.
Yeah.
Even though he's canceled.
Yeah.
And he talks a lot about the rotation and stuff. Same thing.
3, 2, 1.
Excellent. There's a lot of crossover with this can art. I have so much to talk about with the can art, and I didn't know. When he put that out, I didn't even look at it.
You don't even know.
You don't even know. Magic.
There's going to be a lot that I need to talk about here. So this is our second time doing 450 North on the podcast. Again, I said this is a smoothie style sour ale. It's their double X series, so double XL. It's 3 times the guava, 2 times the passion fruit, and 2 times the apricot. There's another fruit that's not listed that I get immediately. We covered them on episode 178. But so that was JT's submission. That was sour worms. I want to cover the website, and there's something big here that's going to really be the hallmark that I'm really excited for.
Which website?
450 North, brewing.com. Again, segue. Like, that's the next
Perfect,
thing.
But I didn't want Drekker to feel left out if they have a part of this.
Yeah. So, but this is under the 450 banner. So it's produced and owned wholly by the Simmons family out of Columbus, Indiana. So just over the border, so it's southeast of Indianapolis. So if you're thinking of Indiana geography. They started brewing in 2012. They're known for, obviously, their smoothie style sours. A couple weeks ago when I was buying beer, I met one of their sales reps, and he's like, oh, you gotta go. And as you guys know, the loyal Chuggalos, we talked about going there, but instead we did Top Gun Day, which we made the right decision.
Yes.
They also of those 40 taps at any one time, 35 of them are smoothie style sours. So they really,
which means you're really limiting how much your customers can drink,
right?
Because you fill fast.
Yeah, you fill up fast on that heavy stuff. I'm not even to the most exciting part yet. They have a full menu. They're known for their brick oven pizza. So, but again, this is their beer first. This isn't like, go there for the food. I haven't had the food.
Brick oven pizza.
Their beer is fantastic. So anyways, they have, and again, big on gimmicks. My middle name could almost be Gimmick. They have a Corn Maze Beer Festival, 1 October.
Oh shit!
It's an expensive beer festival. They have 30 food trucks out there, but so the VIP tickets are $190. Elite VIP, those are completely sold out. You get but then they have Elite, or they have VIP tickets where you get the same thing. You just don't get the commemorative box. That's $110. And again, find out more about this on 450northbrewing.com.
Here, let me just put this out. If you need somebody, if you have 2 more Elite VIP and you want somebody to come live stream for you, we'll volunteer for that.
So the gimmick is the gates open at 11. At 12:30, they let you into the maze. And the maze is where they have all the brewers set up.
No shit.
How cool is that?
That's fucking cool.
11-acre maze.
And 11 acres?
Yeah.
I feel bad for the person who's like 11 acres in.
Yeah. So how amazing am I gimmick? One, I love mazes. Like tubes, like play places and stuff like that. We've got a kidnesium down here, and parents are welcome to go up in there. So hell yeah, I'm in there all the time, just busting around. So 1 October this year, 2022, gates open at 11, maze opens at 12:30. I think it goes till 6, and they encourage you to drink as much as you can and have a good time.
I can't imagine.
They offer DD tickets, which all good beer festivals should do. But I was so excited. This is the first time I went to the website, and that's a big part. There's not a lot about us. I didn't want to bury the lead though. A Corn Maze Beer Festival.
That sounds awesome.
Literally top 3 or 4 gimmick that you can do.
Yeah.
In life. So that's amazing. So again, I present to you, JT, the 450 North collab with Drekker, Legendary Sea Snail. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's tons here. It's a lot going on here. Let's go ahead and look at that can. There it is. All right. That's about all I need to show. So, this is a Can Our Boner segment brought to you by, I believe the last guest submission we had was Chuggalos Steph with his stuff from North Carolina.
Yes. Do you know that I didn't answer his question, but I wanted to address it. On a couple of videos, he's put, who's Steve? Who is Steve?
Yeah.
Who is this?
So I've been in regular contact with the original host of the Blues Clues show, Steve.
Ooh, this is breaking.
And so that's who we're talking to. We're talking to Steve. He's also a Chuggalo. This Can Our Boner segment, which again brought to you by Steph, Chuggalos Steph. This has some crossover here in several ways. One, it is in the structural aesthetic here is Pokemon card. However, it's not, because it doesn't have any of the standard Pokemon stuff like statistics and power. I don't really know a lot about Pokemon. I know my kids collect them, and it's like one of those things where you've seen them a million times, but you can't actually like identify any of the features. But this is definitely a Pokemon thing. But also, the snail here has the appearance of Gary from SpongeBob. And the fact that it says meow at the top would indicate that this is a homage to Gary from SpongeBob, because that snail meows like a cat. And I don't know that there's any other popular culture snail representation that meows. So there's those two things that kind of like come together: the Pokemon aesthetic with the SpongeBob snail. Legendary sea snail, that's probably it. He's legendary and he's in the sea. Lives in a pineapple with his buddy SpongeBob. Although there's been some times we did a lot of SpongeBobbing when we were younger parents, and Gary does not seem to like SpongeBob. That's a common theme.
Is that the guy that owns? I know there's Squidward. Is it Mr. Krabs is the one that owns the burger joint? I don't know.
Mr. Krabs owns Krusty Krab, and Plankton owns the Chum Bucket, which is the competing restaurant.
Who's the Starfish? That's
the
Gary?
Starfish is Patrick.
Oh, Patrick. Okay.
Patrick. So now we're all caught up on that. I will also here's some other crossover. It's kind of like you gotta come with me on this journey. I collect baseball cards still in my adulthood.
I collect Magic cards still in my adulthood.
Yeah, it's perfect. There's a series of cards that came out in 2020 called Project 2020, which it was a roller coaster of popularity. Much like most things, once they only made as many as were ordered.
Yeah.
So it got really popular, and then all of a sudden they weren't worth anything because so many people wanted them. Well, anyway, one of the artists, this is how I'm going to tie it all together. It's like 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. So Project 2020 had 20 artists, and they each did 20 different versions of their own take on 20 famous rookie cards.
Okay.
One of those artists was the same guy who's been hired by McKellar. I will remember his name in a short minute. But he is tied to a guy who is Ermsey. Ermsey does these like wild shit. He did a Ken Griffey Jr. version of a Pokemon card. It was cool. That's my tie. I will find the McKellar guy. So his art, you'll know it. When you see it, you're going to be like, yep. So all of his rookie cards looked exactly like McKellar beer cans. Anyway, that was my tie to baseball cards. That's the Can Our Bonus segment.
I don't know if I'll recover from
that. Was awesome. But anyway, like, so Pokemon is in its popularity has become like so popular, and so it's kind of just like the silhouette. You know, when something's so popular, you could just see its silhouette and know that it's that. That's how Pokemon cards have become. So that's that. Now, I will say this beer has a lot of distinct flavors. It is the double XL, which I believe the triple XL is one thickness more.
Yep.
And that is where you start getting like the clumpy, not clumpy, but like thicker, more smoothie like
viscosity.
Which I heard that word on
NPR.
What the fuck was I watching? I don't even remember at this point. But they said viscous and viscosity and a whole bunch of stuff, and all I could think of was Matt. So this slushy XXL, it's a little thicker, but it's not like super thick that it's a smoothie. It is. I'll tell you what it's not. It is not sour. It is a sour, but it is not sour in and of itself. I wish I could really identify what the differences in the guava and a passion fruit could be. Obviously they exist.
If you put them on a plate in front of me, I wouldn't be able to.
I think I might be able to identify what they look like, but as far as taste, I don't think I could tell.
JT, identify this guava right now.
Oh, well, I'm dead. I think the apricot is the only thing that I actually know. And this, it tastes like a dank melon fruit, which I would say is probably a mixture of the guava and passion fruit. I have no fucking idea. But it's there. Doesn't taste sour. I'm not sure what other flavors are there. The apricot's there. I can taste it. Hard to really differentiate all the different flavors, but I do know that it is good, but it is not in the top tier of 450 beers. Now, we talked about maybe 450 being in their own ranking category.
Yeah.
Where we have to rank their beers against each other. I believe that's probably still true because this doesn't really match a lot of other things because it's not their best effort, I don't think. But it's still better than so many beers. That's almost unfair to say that this beer ranks low, because it doesn't. But against their own beers, it does rank low. So I'm going to go ahead and just give it the score in the universe of beers rather than against itself, because I feel like against itself, if we just put 450 North on a scale, this is probably like a 3. But we're putting it on the scale of all beer, it's very good. It's definitely a 3.75. Only because I enjoy it. I'll drink the whole thing. I would entertain a second one, although I don't know if I could handle it. But I probably won't buy it because there's better beers they sell. That's it, 3.75.
Off the top rope, the first fruit I got, and it's not listed, I'm glad I wrote it down, as pineapple. I don't get any apricot, then that is to this beer's benefit, because I don't care for apricot. Apricot is a throwaway. Apricot I associate with hazies. Funny apricot story. It's one of the few beers that can put an apricot pyramid hefeweizen, which you already know that you're getting an unfiltered wheat beer. Is one of the few beers that can put down my good friend Chuggalo Ryan, who is a former offensive lineman but still carries. He could start today for any college team. Wow. So he still carries the body. Outside of that, I can taste both 450 and Drekker in this. 450 with the fruited crazy smoothie style, and then Drekker like the more refined hopped up stuff. So this is a match made in heaven, because I want the IPA sophistication that Drekker has to marry with the sour smoothie sour style that 450. It's like their hallmark. Yeah. So if this is the first of many. I don't know research wise how many collaborations they're in before this came out. So I can taste them both, and I appreciate it. With the fruit that's in there, the guava, the passion fruit, again, I'm projecting unfairly onto JT. I could pick them out. I probably would taste one and be like, oh, this is this. And, passion fruit, I think, has a softer or more delicate flesh to it than the other one. So it would just be a texture base. It's hard to get that texture when everything is liquefied in a beer. This beer is delightful. Because it's not super sour, I could have multiple of these in one sitting. Again, I get pineapple, but I don't have the tropical fruit palate that my esteemed colleague has next to me. I am different because I can project the artistry in this beer, and I can taste both brewers. I'm in love with both brewers. They're probably going to be vying for my Brewer of the Year. Wow. At the end of the year, betwixt both of them, off the top rope, 4.75. Wow, 4.75. Wow, that's good. I'm glad that we're different on this beer. It's delightful, and it's light. I have a couple other 450s. Like if I will crack one like for a breakfast beer or whatever, that's my 450 for the day. Like their Hurricane beer, which I've gone. That's my all 450 beers are below a Hurricane that I've had so far. Wow. So if you want to see what these beers look like poured in the episode, the live stream we did with nerds. Yep. What's the full name? Yeah, couple of nerds. Yep. We call them nerds. We poured some of that with Chuggalos Phil. I believe it was the Abominable Snowman. Yep. One. And it's very thick. I mean, it left a residue on the glass. I still have a couple cans of that. I still have some 450 Twists. Their ice cream. I still have some Kryptonite. Yep. Hurricane, obviously. I buy Hurricane every time I see it. So that is, I'm glad that we're separated on that. I would like to see a 450. Where's Drekker? North Dakota, Fargo. North Dakota, that's right. I would like to see the Cross Indiana collaboration between them and Three Floyds. Maybe like a Dark Lord, but like a fruited. What Goose Island tried to do in 2020, but not sure that they succeeded. Because I only was able to get my hands on the non-fruited ones. They made an orange one, right, in 2020? Orange Dark Lord? Goose Island, Bourbon County. Oh yeah. So I think I have an orange. I had the cola. I mean, I still have a few bottles, but the cherry cola one was the one that I was really after.
I would like to see a collaboration between 450 and 3 Floyd. No, nothing against Drekkers. I like Drekkers too. It'd be interesting to see that type of collaboration.
Yeah, because Drekker and for me, Drekker and 3 Floyds have some of the same like metal motif, where 450 is more whimsical, more.
I'd agree with that.
Kid-ish.
Yeah.
If I could project a little bit, I'm sitting on my. The next beer is a porter, so I was just trying to
warm it up.
Bring it up. You don't have to. I like again. I've said on record, I'd rather have my beer ice cold than 40 to 45 or whatever like that brings out. Into the ceiling fan. So, anyways,
the ceiling fan it goes.
Beer number 2, brought to you by my father-in-law. So Chuggalo Todd, who's actually 35 feet from us right now, but he's shy.
When he listens to this episode, which he's doing right now,
the
play won't count.
No,
so I'll have to go back and listen to it.
So this is Wisconsin Brewing Company. Where do you think they're out
of? Probably Illinois.
Yep. So close. It's a border state. Chocolate Lab Porter. So again, I went back to I've been trying to do different beers or whatever. So I've had this one earmarked for a while. This comes in a 12 ounce can, and it's 5.2. So I will get into it once we go with the crack here.
Not primed.
No. 3, 2, 1. Excellent.
Oh, this is perfect.
Okay. So a little bit about Wisconsin Brewing Company.
Yeah, nothing about Wisconsin.
They are out of Verona, Wisconsin. Do you know where Verona is?
Verona, Wisconsin. Nope.
Okay, so it's just south of Madison. You know where Madison is, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Madison. There's not a lot of information on their website at wisconsinbrewingcompany.com. It's just a super long URL.
It is.
But they're about events and fun.
Oh, that's good. Me too.
They're also co-located with a second Louis Lake or Lake Louis, or there's a second brewery there. If I was better in my research, I would have had that written down. But they are very widely distributed in the southern part of the state. I've seen them before. This might be my first Wisconsin Brewing Company beer.
So at all the firework stores and cheese stores, you'll find this.
Yeah, so it's
southern Wisconsin is where everyone in Illinois goes to buy fireworks and cheese.
That's very true. Some of the piers in this area, like in the Verona area, you're getting like Nuclearis, which everyone knows about.
Yeah. That's not a pier. No way.
No. But like pier as in locality.
Geographic pier.
This is my first.
This is your first Wisconsin Brewing Company?
It is not. Sorry. No. Psychops. Yeah. So I've had a couple. Okay. So. Anyways, a porter and Chocolate Lab, spoiler, is an apt name for this beer.
It's an apt name. Chocolate Lab.
But JT, I concede my time.
All right, thanks for conceding. Here is the can art. Awesome can art here. Now, I'm gonna get some internet hate, but there's got to be a character that this represents. And
I wonder if it's like the brewery dog or something like that. Like the brew house.
But
dog.
it's the yellow shaded glasses. I don't know if that's an ascot. It's more of a neckerchief, like you would see in a Boy Scouts.
No, that's like Fred from Scooby-Doo.
Fred from Scooby-Doo is what I was thinking. But Fred
is a little more ascot.
It's a little more like drug sunglasses, like stoner sunglasses. In the vest, I guess it would be some sort. It's either a denim vest or a blue. What is the material that suits are made out of? I don't know.
Suede?
No, not suede. It's more of just like a
wool?
Silky kind of wool. Yeah, I don't know, something like that. Silky wool, silky cotton. But it's those sunglasses that are throwing.
I don't think there's such a thing as a silky wool.
Oh, they could do it. I think so. Hey, I have a question that I wasn't able to answer. So in the wild, sheep, they would not have access to
shears.
Anybody who could shear them. What is the deal? Like, do they just die? Like, how do sheep in the wild, like wild sheep, do they exist?
Yes.
And how do they get their
self-blow coat?
Oh.
Rub up
So
against.
it's evolution?
Yeah, rub up against things.
Oh, okay, cool. I was my son and I were talking about that, and I could not answer what happens when there is a sheep in the wild. I don't know. It was I had arrived at the possibility that maybe there is no such thing as wild sheep.
Oh yeah, no, there's wild sheep.
That's so okay. I have my answer. So they're like yogi. They like rub up against a tree.
Oh yeah, okay,
and the bark kind of like, Yogi Bear.
Yeah.
Back always itches.
I thought maybe you meant like
Probably
a purveyor of like yoga is a yogi.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So Can Our Burner segment still brought to you by Steph.
Well, by Chuggalo Todd.
Chuggalo Todd, yeah, because we changed who gave this beer. I had forgotten.
Yeah.
It's Chuggalo Todd, and he'll remain for some time because I think the beers I have next week were purchased by me. So good. That was good ordering on your part. This dog, he's happy. He's wearing yellow shaded sunglasses. So they're not mirrored sunglasses. People sometimes forget that they're not wearing mirrored sunglasses, and they might check out some lady or something, and they're just wearing these yellow sunglasses. He's also wearing a neckerchief or a handkerchief. Handkerchief. How do you pronounce that?
Handkerchief.
Handkerchief.
Hanky.
Tied around his neck, and then a blue
bandana.
Yeah, bandana. And then a blue vest, which we have yet to determine the fabric material. I love dogs. Chocolate Labs are phenomenal. I had a Chocolate Lab Great Dane mix. She was phenomenal. And, as dogs do, she passed. But humans as well, we also passed. But she was awesome. Her name was Bella. Would you say this is probably a male? Just based on the attire. I wouldn't dress Bella in this attire. She'd get something prettier, more pink. She was a chunky dog, but she still looked good. She protected the house. That's for sure. Treat yourself. And there's some dog bones around the brim here. It's obviously the color scheme is very chocolatey, and it's got this. The vibe is very similar to how this dog is dressed in like the 70s. The font is very 70s. The coloring, although it's chocolatey, it's kind of got the 70s vibe to it, with like the shadow behind the lettering. It's cool. And that is the can. I think it's awesome. It's very appealing. If you put that dog, on the shelf face out, I'd buy this can. That's the Can Our Burner segment brought to you by Chuggalo Todd. Thanks. The beer itself, it's a porter. I can taste it. It doesn't have the porters. We've had some pretty distinct porters on this podcast. Ones that have that more like watery feel, but with that more burned malt taste. This one is kind of more balanced. I think it's got a little bit of charred malts, but it's not as watery. And the chocolate, I'm not sure that I'm really getting it. This to me tastes like more of a generic porter. Not generic in a bad way, but just like, this is a porter. Here you go. It has no extra with it. I really want to taste the chocolate. I mean, I think it's there, but it's just so. What I would liken this to is a chocolate lab. A chocolate lab is definitely a Labrador. It's definitely a brown Labrador, but in a lot of people's minds, other than maybe the golden retriever, I think the chocolate lab represents just dog more than most other breeds of dog. It is, except golden retriever probably. That is like a dog if you were to just think of a generic dog. And maybe this beer is that. It is just a good all-around porter. Very low alcohol, 5.2. Easy to drink. You could drink this in summer, winter, doesn't matter. And it's not it's not intrusive. It doesn't like the peanut butter porter that you get at Crook and Handle. That is going to be a beer that's going to stick on your palate, and it's going to affect future things like your eating or the next beer. This, not so much. This you can drink, it won't affect it. I think it's not ho-hum because I feel like there's a negative connotation there. It's standard in its flavor. So 3.5. I do like it though.
We are copacetic. I come in right at 3.5 off the top rope. This beer is a dark chocolate. The first taste that I got completely all the way, but it's a tight. If you don't get it immediately, it's not going to be something that satiates you completely through the can, because then the robust roast on the malt is going to come through and it's going to overpower. And it's, some of that is interpretation that like, oh, sometimes burnt things taste like this or whatever, like the suggestive. Like if you remove chocolate lab or whatever, because that's eliciting, and it's priming the pump, so to speak, on what you should
biasing you.
Yeah, what you should expect on the palate. Again, I got chocolate immediately, but I knew I was going to be opening a chocolate beer. Mm-hmm. So, but as a porter goes and deviating from our 10 and 2, our comfort zones, this is a good beer. It's just not a great beer, and that's perfectly fine. This is a nice thing to have in. So again, going back to their website at WisconsinBrewingCompany.com, they do events and fun. This is something to have that's not an IPA, but it's not a Pilsner, but it's going to appeal to that different sect of the population that wants a darker beer.
Yeah.
It's a safe selection in that it's not polarizing, and it's not 10% ABV.
Yeah.
So you're not wrecking people, but hey, you have something different. Or like, a lot of people order their flights. They're ordering something that doesn't look hazy or an IPA or that golden color. It's going to be a much darker pour, akin to molasses. But don't get that mixed up in, because molasses again elicits certain contextual tones in your palate. But again, that first drink is a solid 4 or 5, but it tapers back out as you continue the rest of the can at a 3.5.
Yep, 3.5. That's good.
I'm comfortable there.
Yeah, I'm comfortable there as well. You said some things that resonated with me personally, but I forgot what they were.
Shoot.
So I'll have to watch the episode back.
I have that effect on
people. Those points were.
We'll
we talked about entry points a lot. This could be one of those. If you don't like this porter, well, I will say if you don't like porters and you've never had them, you're not gonna like them at first. But after a couple, maybe a year of drinking beer, craft beer, if you don't like this porter, you probably won't like porters, because this is a pretty entry point, not entry level. It's like a good entry point into porters.
Yeah,
I think.
I have so much to talk about, and we are early. We were expeditious in this.
Oh, good. I have some stuff to talk about.
I have so many. Well, I talked about a lot of things. I need you to go first.
I'll go first. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue my theme of being surprised by Warped Wing in person. I finally got around to visiting the Warped Wing smokehouse.
Yeah.
And first I will say...
Stacy was just there last Wednesday.
No way.
Yeah.
We were there on Saturday. My younger son had a tournament in Springboro.
Yeah.
My older son had a tournament somewhere south of there, and so we were at a
somewhere south of there. Are you trying to say hell?
Exactly. Which is also known as Middletown, Ohio.
Okay.
I coach my younger son's baseball team. I'm an assistant coach, not a main coach, but that's okay. I used to be the main coach. Now I got demoted, but that's again, it's okay. My older son, he plays for a more elite team, I guess you could say. So it's I would never coach that team. Although the coach he has doesn't coach that team either. So boom, zing, got him. That season's over.
I can see why you wanted to talk about this because I'm just confused.
No, here we go. So they had tournaments and they were located. So what my point was in saying why I coached is that my wife and I, we had to be separate because one has to take the older and one has to take the younger. We were in a location where we could meet for lunch.
Okay.
And the times worked out between games. Now, it just so happened that my younger son, he has a swing akin to one Michael Trout. And it is very hard, fast swing. He doesn't have a long, drawn-out swing. He has waits for that pitch to be right there and then explodes on the ball. Well, he took one off the index finger, and it did break his finger. In the second inning, we left and went to the hospital, got the X-rays and everything. Well, we had a long time to wait before the next game, so we met my wife for lunch at the Warped Wing Smokehouse. Boy, that was a lot. But we met there, and I was surprised once again. And it's always by Ermels.
Yeah.
So the current Ermels on tap is called Nana, and it is a banana Ermels. And I thought, this is gonna suck, but I'm gonna try it. And it was fucking awesome, unbelievable, truly unbelievable, in the sense of the word that I don't typically like Warped Wing beer, and it was actually good, very good. And then, for a smokehouse, I should have gotten a brisket or something, but I asked the waitress, and this continues my theme of asking the waitstaff what they like. And she said the buffalo chicken tacos. And I will say that I ordered them, and I was hesitant. The buffalo chicken tacos at Warped Wing Smokehouse are so fucking good that, it might be one of the best non-Mexican themed tacos that I've ever had. It was so good.
Interesting.
So I highly recommend that people go to the Warped Wing Smokehouse, get the buffalo chicken tacos, and try that Ermels before it's out. That banana Ermels. Very good. Cream ale, obviously.
Banana's a polarizing ingredient in
beers. It is. But
because most of the time the banana ends up like a banana fucking runt, and it tastes like a chemical banana.
Not in this case. This was this beer threw me off. This beer that I just sipped. That banana Ermels though, you should really try it.
And for the one more beer segment, which we only do once every 6 months, we're having Magus, which is a wine barrel aged fermented grisette. So the best thing, the best.
Have you tried it yet?
Yes, it's like a farmhouse ale
with the porter on your tongue.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, the porter has been gone for me for a long time.
But on your tongue, has it been gone?
Yeah.
So I'm tasting straight up dill. You tasting that?
I could see where you get it. So it's a farmhouse, so it's gonna have spontaneous fermentation in it.
Wow.
With a grisette. It's very clear. Drinking it from my Schlitz glass again. Fantastic. And again, it's from Branch and Bone. I'll get you some ABV on this one. I was supposed to have this one a couple weeks ago, but I wasn't able to due to cough. 5.7.
Branch and Bone. We have lauded them on the podcast, but we rarely do review them
because I don't want to come from a place of. I guess we can say that with 450 or whatever. You want to keep your. I'm trying to not look up that way.
Don't look up that way. There's nothing going on out there.
No, up at the. I'm trying to. Be impartial. The problem is, as we approach 400 beers, you really run out of not beer, but time because again, when's the last time we did 3 beers in the same pod? Like,
oh yeah, it's been a while.
It's just the nature of the beast.
It is. It's the nature of the beast. This, well, I get
Dill now.
About the
See, again, it's like the chocolate
now.
Yeah.
I get
Which
what
is
you're
awesome.
saying about Branch and Bone is we don't want to come from a biased place. We don't want to come
because
from,
we laud them
like a hometown
openly.
hero. Really is what they are. And there's we've talked about them enough. I don't think I have to really point out too much, except for that since Matt walked away, I should probably talk about them more. Like Branch and Bone, they're like.
You got this.
Them and no one in particular have this like experimental mindset where they take beer and they say like we're gonna do our own thing to it. We're gonna fuck around and find out. But Branch and Bone does it from a serious like if I had to
sorry Stacey,
draw a parallel to academia, it'd be like we're gonna publish a scientific journal on this very interesting way of brewing beer. Whereas no one in particular is like we're gonna make a TikTok and publish that. But neither of them are cutting any corners. They're absolutely going all out.
They've built enough credibility with their. I had it better in my phrase, in my mind. They have enough credibility where they're not going to get punished for doing something outlandish because people are going to buy it up either way.
But they're wrapping outlandish in like an elegant wrapper.
Right, but yeah, both of them are avant-garde on the respect that they'll take chances.
Yeah.
They're small enough where, like, if they make a production line, let's say, 12,000 units or whatever, they're not going to get punished. Like, it's going to get bought.
Oh, yeah.
And
there'll be a line out the door.
Right. And both of them have enough of a following in the area that it's a small enough footprint that's going to get bought up. Where like with the Warped Wing, they have to make more calculated movements, and this is breweries from afar. Because if you're utilizing a line and making a 3-day production run of something, like you need to see a return on that. You can take a couple of hits, but like with Nipcock and Branch and Bone, they're still small enough and listen to their communities.
Yeah.
The brewmasters are out in the tasting room with people. They understand where their fan base is. They're not too big for their britches yet.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, if you're Rheingeist and you're spinning up a huge brew, you're spinning up an entire production. Unless it's like brewery exclusive, which I don't know. Other than changing the between nitro and non-nitro, that Rheingeist really does any brewery exclusives. So, in that regard, when you do something, you're going big, and you don't really have a lot of room for error, like you said. Whereas, Branch and Bone, they can make something that is a total like from a 90% take is shit.
Yeah.
But will be seen as art.
Yeah. A complete departure.
Let's do it.
Hopefully I'm fine with that.
Let's depart.
The first time, so we are July 18th as we record this. Oktoberfest is already on tap.
Where?
Multiple places.
Get the fuck out of here.
So, like, we're starting to see, like, hazy...
hazy Oktoberfest?
Hazy lashbacks over the last couple of weeks. Oktoberfest. And big reputable places are like, hey, our Oktoberfest is already on tap.
Wow. Interesting.
And I apologize that not because I just remembered it. I know it's in my plan or whatever. We've already. So again, August I'm fine. We've still got 2 full weeks left in July. So again, we're close or whatever like that. And I like Oktoberfest. Fall is my favorite season. I'm on record as saying that Oktoberfest defines fall beer. It's hardly ever that I crave an Oktoberfest in the springtime. And I think that might be the only beer make that has an assigned season for me. Is that true for you? Or do you have other beers that, like sours can be year-round for me?
Yeah, sours are year-round.
But Oktoberfest, because it's in the name, I guess, like a Marzen. Marzen, is supposed to mean March, but
good point. I do associate the shitty spice combination with December.
The shitty spice. So it sounds like you really like this beer.
The Christmas beer,
I misspoke there potentially. I'm just double checking myself.
I don't know. Marzen, I thought meant like
it's March
maize or
March beer. Yeah.
It's March beer.
But it is traditionally beer served at Oktoberfest, even though it means March beer.
Oh shit.
Because you can get Marzen's during.
Yeah, I don't. That seems crazy to me that Oktoberfests are already on tap. That means that the plan is to brew more of it, because I don't think it'll last that long. You certainly don't want to have it.
They already have
the same batch brewed.
They already have it. So that means again in the beer cycle things, like you've got to be in an October mindset like in April, and then okay, I understand production wise, and we're in the business of making money. It just was unfortunate, I guess, but and we're only off 2 weeks. So
what ingredients really in an Oktoberfest require you to think about these in the fall? Because I don't think there's any. Like with pies, for example.
Oh, you're thinking like a pumpkin beer,
harvest of pumpkins or something.
Yeah.
Is pumpkin harvest is going to be in the late summer, early fall. So you can't do anything with pumpkin until then. But with the Oktoberfest, I'm guessing it's all malts mostly that make it, yeasts maybe that make it what it is.
Yeah, that dark, vibrant, not red but golden. Golden is brown, golden brown, golden. I mean, everyone knows
I think it's more golden.
If they saw
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. A light brown. I don't know.
Beer colored.
Either way, I've seen Oktoberfest in multiple places. Across the gamut, the spectrum, if you will.
I can't believe that. Too early.
Gosh. I've so many thoughts, but it's what package do we open?
Which package do we open?
Yeah.
Well,
but again, Oktoberfest, the Kroger beer, the Iowa Beer Cave, and Oktoberfest were the big ones for me.
Mm-hmm.
This beer, again, I know we were off a little bit on the collab, but man, I'm excited for more collabs like that. It's just the OCD part of me is it's tough to aggregate those scores in my spreadsheet to give credit to both.
Yeah, no, I
outside
understand.
Of that. But yeah, we're approaching 400 beers in 200 episodes.
Wow, 400 beers. Yeah, 200 episodes. We definitely need to talk about that. 2020 threw a wrench in some of our plans.
Yep.
But yeah, we're at 193.
So, Math in Public, 6 episodes, month and a half.
I'm talking blowout in August.
Blowout.
End of August, early September.
Would it be end of August? Yeah, end of August, early September. Jeez Louise, it's right there.
Jeez Louise.
It's on the tip.
It's on the tip. That's what we got to do. We got to...
As we're rounding this out, the Brew Crew podcast again on Stinger 1988 Twitch TV on Thursday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Outside of that, closing thoughts, JT.
Stinger 1988. Also, famous event that happened in 1988. The Cubs installed lights at Wrigley Field. 8/8/88 actually they planned it to be that day, and it rained out. It was a rain out. Bill Murray was there.
Was that 50 years to the... it was close when they installed the ivy. It was 38 or 34.
Thing to say. I don't know.
Do you know the history of the ivy? I know I've gone over this before.
No.
So they planted ivy. Ivy's notoriously slow at growing. Once it grows, they had a bad late frost this year, and that's when the MLB approved everything that with your ballpark. So whether or not you could have a catwalk in play or a hill in your fucking outfield, But in the 1930s, they had to travel by train. So the groundskeepers, having this late frost and they wanted this ivy, went and bought all the houseplants they could. And they strung them up. And the vice commissioner of baseball at the time came and they let him get behind home plate. And all he sees is this lush green hedge, if you will, for the outfield at Wrigley. And they're like, you can't get any closer. It's very sensitive this time of year because it was just houseplants that were strung up. Wow. So then individual left, they took down the houseplants. The ivy was very stunted. It was 12 to 16 inches off the ground. But by that time they had already signed it and it was approved, and it didn't get back to the commissioner's office because, again, the speed of telegraph and, they didn't have the internet for a couple of days, and they're like, well, they got one over on us. They already signed it.
I fucking hate ivy. It's
Did you know the Wrigley family owned Catalina Island?
I didn't know that. The Wrigley family actually sold Wrigley Field like not long after they owned Wrigley Field.
And then was it? They have a very auspicious history with World War II. I know Wrigley's was included in every K-Rad.
There's some they switched their production lines to something else. During World War II, but everyone did.
Again, and rounding it out, everyone that talked to me about last week's pod, was like, beer needs a Prime Day. Which I agree.
There should be a beer Prime Day. That'd be awesome.
We need to put that with Ohio style and every other good idea that we've made that we haven't worked on because
beer Prime Day.
We're trying to be successful elsewhere in life. But that's it. That's all I got.
Prime Day. That's
beer
awesome.
Prime Day.
That's like blowing my mind. That's good. I think that's a good stopping point.
We had one more beer this episode, so
we did. And it was dill flavored.
Off the top rope, I give this for a farmhouse ale grisette type ish. I give a solid 4.0.
I'm gonna sit at, just because I think the porter kind of wrecked it. 3.75.
Awesome. That's it for episode 193. We'll
193.
Put that one in. If you watch the Goldbergs, you'll understand.
Yep, little Duke poo poo.
Did you make it?
Did you make? Yeah, you gotta make doo doo or make whatever.
Make doo doo while the sun is shining.
Bye.